Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. Before we begin, just want to remind you to follow us wherever you listen so you don't miss any episodes or bonus content. If you love what we do and want an easy way to show your support, please consider leaving us a positive, that's all the stars rating on your favorite listening platform. It helps SPN and fanfic lovers find us and share in the fun. I'm Sandra.
I'm Kasey, and this is the first ranking episode of 2025. So we took like a long break, y'all. We said we weren't ready to go to rehab, and we're not. But we weaned ourselves off for a little period of time. We were like, this is getting out of hand a little bit. Let's take a step back. So we've taken a step back, we've reevaluated our life, and we've decided that we're not hurting anybody, and we're going to keep going, motherfuckers. Welcome to Help We Can't Stop Ranking Things 2025 edition. No, there'll be more than just this one. This is just the first one. So this one, we keep putting ideas out. We keep like polling our listeners, being like, hi, what do you want us to record? It's not that we're running out of ideas. It's just that like sometimes it helps to like narrow shit down. Like, what do people want to listen to? Rambling. Anyway, our lovely friend Fictional Lemons, who was actually on the podcast. Was that this year or last year?
That was 2024.
Oh, look at that. Oh, it's already
Which
come out,
technically we're still in
yeah.
as we're recording this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the fucking thing. We're recording for 2025 in 2024, and all my calendars are messed up. It's ruining me. Yes, but our good friend Fictional Lemons, who has given us a couple of episode ideas and graciously came on and spoke to us as well, gave us this one, which was our favorite, like, one-shot characters. So characters that only appeared in one episode. And let me tell you, that is less characters than you think it is. Because there are characters that only appeared for a little bit that you think, I think they were in one episode. And then you go to the Wikipedia and you look and they were in two. And we were very strict about this. We were like, no, they can only have appeared in one episode only. The character.
Kasey.
Because there's some actor over. What have you done?
No.
What have I done?
I'm just looking at this.
No. I looked at that. That doesn't count because it's an alternate timeline. That doesn't fucking count.
What? What do you mean it's an alternate timeline?
It's an alternate thing. It's an alternate thing. No, it isn't. Fuck! I brought a backup. We're not doing honorable mentions, but I brought a backup because one of my characters only appears in one episode, but is referenced in other episodes. So I was like, I'm going to bring a backup just in case Sandra's like, you can't have that one because they are referenced. I'm not going to use my backup for one of them.
No, okay, we've got to actually talk about it now, though. So the person that Kasey picked is Sarah Blake, who showed up in season 1 of Providence. Problem is, Sarah Blake literally shows up again in another episode, I think.
She does. I thought that it was. I thought it was like a flashback or an alternate timeline, but it isn't. What happens is Crowley goes around and starts killing the people that they saved. So they saved Sarah Blake in Providence, and Crowley goes, and I can't remember if Sarah is the one that they get there in time to save, or if she actually does die.
She dies. She's the last one to die, and I think it's season 8. Let me check real quick because I looked at it and then I was like, "Why does that one just didn't seem right?" I could be wrong in some of mine, though. I mean. We can check.
No, I don't think you are. No, it's fine. I have a backup. This is fine.
Okay, because this was tough. This was a tough one to do. Yeah, it's season 8. It's the penultimate episode right before Sacrifice called Clip Show. Yeah, so unfortunately, Sarah Blake, can't use Sarah.
You were on this list for very cool reasons as well. Very, very sad. Good job. I brought a backup. Alrighty, well. No, so yeah, it was really fucking hard and I fucked up. But I was like, you think of characters, but like one moment will stand out in your head. So like Hendrickson from season 4.
No, he showed up in season 2 and then he came back in season 3. You're talking about the FBI, right? The FBI dude? Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it season 4? Because they're doing the Lilith thing.
He comes back in season 4 too for like the ghosty thing. So He shows up.
Oh, fuck it. Yes.
He shows up in season 2. I think it's Night Shifter when we see him for the first time. Then he comes back in season 3. Actually, he comes back, I think, Folsom Prison Blues, I think. So he's like a couple episodes, I think, in season 2. Then he comes back in season 3. He's killed in Justin Bello. And then season 4, he comes back as the ghost to terrorize with one of the seal and Bobby thingies that happens. So
it's the raising of the witnesses.
See, and Supernatural is they really make it difficult. And so, yeah.
But like, I was talking to Sandra about this before we started recording. In my head, I only think of him in Justin Bello. But, right, okay, like, I remember Supernatural plot points by their bloopers.
Hello, have you been listening to us?
So he comes, he's got Sam and Dean in the little holding cell bit, and then just like sitting on the bench, and he comes up and he goes, you know what I've been thinking, boys? I've been wondering something like that. And Jensen's line is whether Cialis will help you with your little problem. But in the blooper, he mispronounces Cialis. So somebody from like off camera, behind camera shouts, it's pronounced blah, 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 blah. And Jensen goes, what? And obviously Jared sat next to him, and Jared goes, oh, you mispronounced. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing it right as Cialis. It might not be. That's not the brand name for it over here. It's called Viagra because we're normal.
Well, no, it's called Viagra and Cialis. They have two different.
Is it the same drug though?
It might be the same drug, but it's different. Is it different manufacturers? Is that what those names are? I think is the manufacturer of the drug. Yeah,
that's fucking wild. It's just erectile dysfunction drugs are just Viagra over here.
Okay.
Jared says to Jensen, "Oh, it's pronounced. You said blah blah blah. It's pronounced blah blah blah." And Jensen's like, "Oh, okay." And then Jared goes, "Oh, hey, how did you know that, Mike?" And does like that fake laugh that he does, and that's the bit that sticks in my head. So when I think of Hendrickson, that's the scene where he's like, what to have for dinner tonight. So I was like, "Oh, Hendrickson," and then Wiki went, "No, Pamela," because the one that sticks in my head is Death Takes a Holiday. Nope, Pamela. Although really,
she was in a few. Yeah,
she was. It should be nihilism that sticks in my head actually, because that's got a kick-ass blooper attached to it.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's Death Takes a Holiday when she's like bleeding out on the bed, and it is Sam that's with her, isn't it?
Sam is with her. Yes,
telling her that it's going to be okay.
Sam wakes up first, and then Dean wakes up, and then she, I think, whispers in Sam's ear. I think about what she heard or saw or whatever that he'd done or something like that. So yeah.
But it's that I remember that she's on the bed and Sam's kind of like, she starts to bleed and Sam's like, no, it's going to be fine. We're going to sort it out. And she's like, nope, this is the end of the road for me. That's the scene that sticks in my head. Pamela was out. The fuck else did I look at? There was so many people that just had like a fleeting fucking glimpse in another episode, and then they're disqualified, and poor Sarah fell through the cracks there. I'm very sorry. Did you struggle with this, Sandra?
I did, just because, I think because initially Lemons' suggestion said 1 or 2 episodes, but then I was like, let's just get really difficult with it. And of course, this is probably my fault. So I was just like, just 1 episode. And I immediately was like, well, I can't do Missouri because, Missouri's my girl, and I always want to bring her back whenever possible.
Yeah,
but, they did the thing where she showed up in season 1, then they didn't bring her back again until season 13 just to kill her off. It's this theme, right? Like bring a character back just to kill them off kind of a thing, situation that I think they do. So I really wanted to kind of search out, characters that I kind of forgot about, but when I see them, I'm always like, oh, that's such a good character. Because I even thought about in I think it's Pac-Man Fever. No, not Pac-Man Fever. LARP and the Real Girl. There's a cop in the beginning with like the twirly handlebar mustache that's so, every time he comes on, like he's only in a few scenes, but he's so fun and just very matter of fact, but he just has this like presence about him that it's kind of like you wish they would have brought him back again, but he was only there for one episode kind of a deal. I didn't really focus on, I think, more of the bad guys, because sometimes I think there's some really fun bad guys. I wanted to ask you, Alistair.
See, that was fucking, he would have been one of mine as well, but he's been so many.
Does he though?
He shows up in more than two.
The character shows up with a different body, with a different meat suit, but actually, like Hyderhall, he's really only in on the head of a pin, right?
Yeah, but the character shows up in heaven and hell wearing a pediatrician.
That's the thing too. Oh, you'll have to talk about that once you talk about one of your picks, because we were like, Kasey came to me, was like, I've got a dilemma. And I was like, no, that's fine. You could do that. That'll work, because we will talk about how else Supernatural likes to recycle in certain situations.
Well, they're very eco-friendly.
They're
it's
very
Jensen's little black book of
Vancouver.
And Vancouver stars.
Man, oh man. No, I did kind of find this difficult, because I also, like I said, there was one that stood out for me. And then there was another one actually that I was thinking about that you picked that I didn't, because I was kind of like, no, let me kind of go back. And I kind of picked something really obscure that every time this character comes out, just makes me chuckle, because it's just such a cute little character. So I was like, let me do that. So I put mine.
I want to say as well, Sandra finished her list first. So then, and that's my fault, because I could have prepped earlier and put her in the awkward position, but I didn't. Then I didn't want to have that much overlap with Sandra, so she picked some that I probably also would have chosen, but I then was like, no, because then that's, like, if it's going to be this, like, we've already done your top is my bottom. We've made that joke to death. In fact, we've made it to death so much. We did an episode on who we think Sam and Dean actually were top and bottom for, so, let's, like, that there is an overlap, but fuck you, this character's great. He deserved better.
Well, I think we also decided to try to make it shorter, because the way we record, instead of doing 10 each, we said, let's just pick five of each. So 5 for me, 5 for Kasey situation. I don't know if that's going to make it any shorter.
No, that's going to make it shorter. I will say, though, when I was researching for this, we didn't do honorable mentions. I brought it back up because I know that one of mine is on shaky ground, not thinking that I'd completely fucked up on Sarah. But I knew one of mine was on shaky ground, so I brought it back up.
I see.
But we opted not to have any honorable mentions, but this is kind of a dishonorable mention, I guess. When I was researching for this, the little kid, the Antichrist, Jesse, kept coming up as like this really kick-ass, like, one episode character, and he was so cool and blah. And he was all that, right? But he didn't make my list, because I remain pissed off that they hyped this up, that he's like the Antichrist, the spawn of a demon and a human. Oh my God, he's so fucking powerful. And then they just never mentioned him again.
Yeah.
It's like somebody lost the post-it note with Jesse the Antichrist kid on it, and they were like, no.
So this is another.
Still mad about it.
This is another situation where Jensen's little black book comes into play on The Boys, because the actor that played Jesse, the Antichrist, ends up playing Gunpowder in the one of The Boys episodes where they first show the Payback group, like from back in like the 80s. So his little sidekick, the younger version of him, is Gunpowder. Is the kid that played Jesse. So again, Jensen just keeps spreading the love all over the place, everywhere he goes. So it's a thing.
Tell you, man,
found a thing.
Jensen and his little black book of actors in Vancouver is incredible. It's incredible. But that's it. That's my one dishonorable mention, because I just feel like a lot of you would be, and quite rightly so, would be like, why did nobody mention Jesse? He was cool. It was deliberate, because I'm mad that they kicked the character over.
I also don't like that either. I think it's just one of those, like, dangling participles that they just didn't, really talk about. And I think another reason, Kasey, you'd asked me to, like, kind of find a couple lists or something. So I found a couple, like, just links to some things. And Screen Rant back in like 2022 did a top 10 only one episode appearance on Supernatural. And some of their choices were debatable, but they did pick Jesse as one of them.
I got one of mine from that list.
Okay. I figured it would help, because if they said only one episode, it would be some of them. But like, there's some that I'm like, no, I didn't like that character at all. Like, I mean, and I don't know if it's just memorable, maybe, but like not a character that I would have even thought was memorable. But there was one that neither of us picked, and I'm trying to remember if it was Quick Reaver or who it was that mentioned this character. Do you remember Patrick? He
was on the list, and he was really close to being on my list. And then when I really sat and thought about it, I was like, the character's really cool. I really like it. But then when I actually sat and thought about it, I was like, I'm going to put this character on this list because that is another Fuck You Sam episode. And I can't in good faith.
Who had picked? Was it Chris that had picked Quick Reaver or was it somebody else? For some reason, she's sticking in my mind and I don't remember. But I know
You're probably right.
I don't know.
You're probably right.
If I'm wrong and somebody remembers, let me know. But I remember somebody saying Patrick, and I was like, "Who's Patrick?" I couldn't remember the character's name. I couldn't remember who that was. But another person, and this is another fuck you to Sam, is Madison that Screen Rant had picked.
Yeah, that was deliberately didn't pick that one.
Yeah, and then
all right, look, since Sarah doesn't get a go, the reason that I picked Sarah is not only was she a badass. Because in the episode, they're like, wait here, we'll deal with it. And she's like, the fuck you will. And I'm so in for that. I know it was like a trope subversion in 2005, but I was really here for it. She was fucking cool. But also, she was like she was kind to Sam. She was good to Sam at a time that he really needed it after Jess. And she was really like... She wasn't like overtly hitting on him or anything, but I think she was the first step to him realizing that he still had a life, even after what happened.
Yeah.
And I have like mad respect to her for that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But like primarily, it was that she was all the fuck you are. And I'm here for that. I'm here for a strong female lead. Madison, even though Madison was a really cool, really good character, and her ending was heartbreaking, that was it. It was heartbreaking. And that was like kicking Sam down a flight of stairs. And I was like, oh, dicks, you.
Yeah.
That was kind of similar with Patrick. Like the episode and the idea that they had a witch that wasn't like skeevy fucking beaten hearts and cupcakes and, oh man, witches are so gross and maggots and food and stuff like that. They had this witch that didn't do any of that. He was really cool. And I like the lore behind him and stuff like that. It was just another episode of Dean and Bobby saying, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't to Sam. And I hate that. Fuck you, yeah, you can. Patrick was still a cool character though. I'm fully here for witches that aren't gross.
Yeah, I think so. I think he and he did show some compassion, even if he didn't necessarily show it to Sam right away. Like it took, you could still see there was humanity. You saw what he did with other people that he had deals with and stuff like that. So, but
yeah, you got the vibe that he wasn't doing it to be malicious. Like he genuinely wasn't stacking the deck in his favor. He was, it was quite an honest game for him. And if you win, he's happy to pay out. And if you lose, well, it sounds weird it wasn't nefarious because like he's literally fucking taking years from people. But it wasn't in service of some great evil. He was just extending his life. And that is the nature of any kind of game like that. I mean, I know poker's more skill than luck, but, there is an element of randomness to cards. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, it's just an honest game. Yeah, no, I was into it.
We haven't talked about how we're doing this, so you
can go first. Yours are on the top of the list.
Okay. So, I put mine in season order just because I don't know if just like towards the end, just the characters just became less memorable that showed up, or I just was like, I met my 5 and I was like, that's it. If I probably had to pick 10, I probably would have been able to pull up some more that had just been like, just one shot.
Maybe.
God.
Maybe we'll do this by season.
Oh God. No, I think we should. I think we'll pick something else. I think we'll probably. I'm sure we'll get another like suggestion. And really, we are open to suggestions because as much as
tell us what you want to rank. Yeah, tell us what you want us to rank.
We kind of like sometimes are, we just don't have a good amount of inspiration. Sometimes we're just like we stall. So we want to do the things. We just don't know what would be more fun for people to listen to us rank. Season 1. I picked Kasey Robinson from Route 666 just because I think when we were talking about...
Can't think why you would have...
Well, there's a bunch of reasons, but if we're talking about the most important reason, it's because of Dean and Kasey in bed, which is thank bless Kasey for doing that for all of us and having that scene.
Oh, man. Kasey walked so fucking later seasons could run. I couldn't think of a positive female lead for a second.
But that's
my brain
thing.
Kasey walked so Ruby
Because
No.
I mean, she really
Look-
did, like, you could tell there was the threads of the relationship that they tried to have in a short amount of period of time, and that being a very, I guess, important relationship for Dean in terms of, I think, the length of it and how he'd been able to just give up information about his life to this person, then to get rebuked, but the rebuke happening because she just couldn't come to terms with it. They were just having difficulty figuring that whole thing out. And then getting the chance to come back together and then thinking, oh, maybe we might see her again in some capacity. And we literally don't see her again. I don't even think she's mentioned again, like, at all.
Not after that.
And that's kind of one of those things where I also wonder, I just thought she held her ground with Dean. I think you could see the relationship. But yeah, again, my God, bless you. Like, it's like Anna in, season 4. Like, we got 2 really great scenes of Dean that are, because of these women. And I'm not gonna, that's got to get praised when it needs to be praised. And yeah, so she was, she's like the patron saint of
Get
Dean
on
and
top
Ted.
of you guys.
And that, I mean, we've done another whole episode about the boys bottoming or topping, like, in a certain situation, this kind of thing, and it goes back
Cassie
to,
was mentioned in that episode.
Yeah,
So we've
as well.
officially mentioned Cassie more on this podcast than the poor girl was mentioned in the actual TV show she comes from. We talk about Cassie a lot, actually.
yeah,
We stan Cassie Robinson. She is fucking
I think she's great. Then in season 2, I actually picked the ghost from the episode Roadkill. Molly McNamara.
You
is
had
her
sex
name.
with my mullet. It is the same actress that plays
Trisha Helfer,
Charlotte.
right? Yeah.
Charlotte. I can't remember her last name, but it is the same actress that plays the lawyer that Lucifer's mother inhabits in the TV show Lucifer.
Yeah. And she was really good in that episode. She's
a fucking kick-ass actor.
I liked
real.
the spin of the whole episode in general, and like then the revelation at the end that the ghost,
Yes.
and then the whole, like, the way they flash back it and like put all the scenes together. I just thought it was it's kind of like one of those episodes. It's kind of a little bit of almost like a bottle episode. Like, it's not really necessary. It's a monster of the week, but it's not a sucky monster of the week. There's something behind the, whatever they're hunting has a meaningful, I think, even an arc, even just within the episode itself, coming to terms with moving on and all that stuff. And I think she did a really good job with it. She played it really well. And I think that every time that I appreciate that episode more every time I watch it. So I did like that. I did like her in that. This is just a random, because as I was going through the seasons and I was really
This was
looking.
cute.
It's the episode in season 4, Wishful Thinking, with the teddy bear that comes to life. But my choice of character was Audrey, the little girl. Because the scenes with her and the teddy bear and the boys, she's just so gosh darn cute, and has like just her expressions on her face when she's like talking to Sam and Dean.
If she had been, if it had been set in the 90s, she would have been called bossy, is the word that would have been used to describe her.
Bossy, because she's very straightforward, and she's very like, my parents aren't here. Is he in trouble? Like, she's just
she's very, very cool. She's very cool. I like that was meant like that was not a happy throwback to the 90s. Like nowadays we would call her authoritative or knows what she fucking was, or even just a normal child capable of speaking her mind. But in the 90s, she would have been demonized as bossy. She's fucking kick-ass though. She is kick-ass. Like the line when he's like, "What am I here for?" She's like, "For fucking tea parties." Literally, why else would you be here, idiot?
It's just her delivery and everything. I just think she's just the best. She's just the best. So Audrey, I think, one of my favorites. Now the next one, there's no way to get around it. It's season 10.
You don't have to justify it to me. You love that episode. I'm the weirdo.
It's Marie, the Supernatural, the musical director. From the episode Fan Fiction. I was thinking about it more too, just in terms of her love of the show, I think she's a good representation of fans, fanfic writers, that kind of like is a contrast to what we were initially given of Becky.
She's a much better representation of fandom and people in fandom than Becky.
And I
100%.
think she just like how she covets it in a way, but like then realizes like, that, her ways doesn't have to be the be all end all, like her interpretation, how she works it out with Dean. They have discussions about it and all of those things. And that she does the bit. I will say, I don't have anything against anybody in that episode. I know. It makes me want to avert myself literally out of existence with secondhand cringe. I'm so uncomfortable. It's not, it's not them, it's me. Yeah.
It's me.
And like, usually I'm somebody that does that, but I guess I feel like they all did such a good job with it. Like all of the girls in the play. I was so proud of them. And another shout out would be Marie's assistant director. I can't remember her name, but she's so good.
She the one that tells Sam not to touch anything in the mixing desk. Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah,
she's also a really good, like just her lines, the way she just delivers them, just so on point. But yes, so season 10, Marie, and then my last one. I mean, come on, season 11.
If one of us hadn't picked this, it would have been a fucking crime, but it had to be Sandra.
So it was Sully from Just My Imagination. I love this character every time I see it, and every time I see the episode even more. I just got done watching season 11 and was so excited when this episode came up. It was just...
If you didn't know, Sandra has actually met the actor that plays
Yes,
Sully.
I met Sully. I met the little girl's mom, Nate Torrance, the actor Sully, and I actually just saw him recently. I'm doing my first time watch of a Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is like a comedy show.
Oh yeah, my husband watches that.
And I just saw an episode where he was in it and he played like a character, Super Dan. And he was like this civilian who was just like dressed up with like a blanket and like SD over his like chest and very short, like just a one-time character again, like in Supernatural. But I saw him. I was like, oh, it's Sully. And yeah, he was so sweet. Getting to see him at the DC Con a couple years back, having the experience of like being in a photo op with him, my husband, and
that was a beautiful photo op as well.
Yeah, and then getting him to sign the little prop for the book that I made for the photo op. It was a nice experience, and that kind of like ties me more to the character too, and how just very. I think I've talked about this before, but the actor had done a little video towards the end of Supernatural where he was like talking to Sam, and he did like a 2 or 3 minute video. It was the cutest and sweetest thing. And I'm just like,
my heart's starting to hurt now because I remember it. And he was telling Sam that like he could do it and he's got this. And it was so fucking sweet. And it's like, man, maybe we need to do a deep dive into Sully. maybe that's what it is. Because we both pull so much. But it's like, I know that for a lot of us, Supernatural we resonate with a lot of the darker parts of it. You know, those of us that come from bad childhoods and bad homes and abusive parents, and those of us that have been through some shit. And we resonate with that, and we resonate with, the brothers and how they deal with it, and maybe we lean more to one side or the other, but like we resonate with it. But then Sully's like this beautiful, like, for my Lord of the Rings nerds out there, with the light of Arendelle, our most beloved star, he's this beautiful beacon, and he doesn't take away from any of the awful things that happened to Sam, but he's so pure and so pure and so beautiful, and it's almost like being able to go back and give child you a hug when you see him on screen. Well, that's how I feel when I see him.
And it's that belief that he has in Sam that you keep going back to, that a lot of the other characters did not have in him. And, like right from the very beginning, to give him that sense of confidence. And it's possible, the possibilities for Sam that, it's not just this one thing, even, however it was left, that he knew. And like just the fact, like, I keep tags on my kids, like when he says stuff like that, and that he's like still been watching over him in a way,
That's it as well. He's one of the very few characters that doesn't hold Sam's fuck ups over his head. Getting weirdly emotional about this. He leaves Sam on not great terms, but he comes back and it's like nothing's changed. He comes back and he's like, I know you can fix this for me. I believe in you. There's no one else I was going to take this to. I know that you can help me.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, but how it was? And he's like, doesn't matter. I was what you needed when you needed it, and you didn't need me anymore.
Yeah.
And, I think Sam makes the argument that he probably fucking did. There's needing someone, but being in a place to accept their help.
Yeah.
And they're two different things, I think.
Yeah.
Sam very much still needed Sully, but he was no longer in a place that he could accept the help that Sully was giving him. And those are two very different things. But he just comes back and there's no judgment, there's no resentment, there's no you told me to go away, you cast me aside. He's just like, you didn't need me anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that was how we left off, but nothing's changed for me. I still love you, I still care about you, I still believe in you. And the conversations they have about Sam's childhood, and it is just like going back in time. And
you've got there's episodes you just have to watch again. Like, just don't even worry about doing a rewatch. Just there's certain episodes.
Gotta watch.
I think we need to ask listeners, make Kasey a list of episodes that they should watch. Because screw the rewatch. If it's too much, it's too difficult. Don't have to go through it all over again. But like,
I just don't have
season
the fucking
7
time, man.
on, or like 8 on, like, there's episodes that just are so good. You know what I mean? And like, that's one of them that you just like, when you watch it, it just has so many beautiful beats to it and scenes that, I think it's just, he's just a great character. So those are my 5 after we had a little bit of a technical
That was a technical issue, but you don't need to know about that. For you, nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
For you, it was just a smooth transition.
So Kasey, we segue into yours, and I don't know if you want to start with the one we just talked about.
No, I don't. No, I'll go through in order.
Okay.
Like you did. So it was going to be Sarah Blake, but then Sandra was like, actually, she was in 2 episodes, so she doesn't count. But we talked about that. Going in order again. This is the one that I went to Sandra and I was like, quick question. If the actor came back as a different character, can I still have the character? And she was like, yes. So my first is Matt Pike. He is the kid in the season 1 episode Bugs. Now, I know that everyone thinks Bugs sucks. And you know what? I thought Bugs sucked. I put it as like one of my most hated episodes.
I did too, yeah.
It's very like the visual effects aren't very good. And it's very pointless monster of the week. It's almost like, oh, bugs are creepy. Let's do something with creepy bugs. But there's nothing in it, But I really liked that fucking kid. I really, really liked Matt. I did. I thought he was just like, trying to creep out his stepmom with the spider. And, he was just kind of very like, fuck you. And I liked the conversations that he had with Sam, where Sam was like, you just hold it together just a little bit longer and you can get out of here. And Dean was like, the fuck you, mate? You can get out of here, Samuel. And he was like, fucking shut up. I liked the idea that Sam, although it didn't work out great for him, he still saw the benefit in getting away from a toxic situation. Like, I'm in for that.
Yeah.
And there's a whole conversation about Sam and Dean and Dean's feelings about Sam leaving. There's a whole different conversation. But I just fucking liked that kid. I just thought he was fucking cool. But I had to check with Sandra because the actor, whose name is Tyler something, I forget, but his first name is Tyler, he actually comes back as the angel Samandriel in season
8.
Yeah. He's the one dressed in the like fast food worker
Wiener
thing.
Hut.
Crowley puts the...
It's Wiener Hut.
puts the thingies in his brain.
Yeah.
Same actor. Totally different character, though. So I was given approval for that one. I was given approval.
Yeah.
Moving on. My next one is season 5. It's Famine. If y'all were going, oh, I wonder why Sandra picked Kasey.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I wonder why Kasey picked Famine. I think there's a lot of kind of interpretations of the Four Horsemen, and I think Supernatural did pretty good at interpreting them in a way that didn't feel like trite and overdone, but was also quite like faithful, if you will, to the sort of the law. If like, I hate the episode of Pestilence. It's so fucking gross. Just snotting everywhere, sneezing on stuff, everything's sticky and drippy. I fucking hate it. Ugh. Oh,
yeah,
God,
I can't watch that episode without like, ugh. Yeah.
Oh god, it's gross. She just fucking sneezes on stuff. You're just wet and gross and sticky. It's disgusting. But I really like the idea. Like, if you think of famine, you tend to think of like a starving, emaciated person, and they played into that. But the idea that he was like old and powerful, and I just thought it was a really interesting interpretation of the character. I guess thought it was really interesting, and also he uttered the infamous lines, "You can never drink too much," which I have based at least one fic on. Leave me alone. But I like his scene with Dean, when Dean was like, "You're not hungry because you're dead inside." It's
empty.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then the scene with Sam, and he was like, "Oh, you got me a gift, and you can never drink too much." And it was really fucking cool. And I just thought it was a really interesting interpretation of the character, if you will, the person, whatever.
Yeah.
Thought it was really interesting. But when I looked it up, he only appears in the episode My Bloody Valentine. He appears, but he is referenced in quite a few other episodes. So I brought him back up because I was like, Sandra might be squiffy on this one, and validly so.
But good choice though for Famine. Good choice. I think that's a good one shot character. And gee, I wonder why this next character in season 6 would be coming up.
So this was my backup in case Famine got the boot, but now it gets to step up and take center stage. It's Marion, the fairy lady from Clap Your Hands If You Believe. You know, the one with the little fucking caravan. Is you a bigger cups lady?
That's the only reason you picked. I feel like that's the only. Why else did you pick her? Why else did you pick her?
Because I really like this scene.
I know. It's really like Audrey. It's like Audrey for me in wishful thinking. Yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it.
Like, I want to be able to tell you that I just think the way that she believes in fairies is really fucking badass. But the actual reality is very
into it, and she's just like excited to
knowledgeable
explain it, and she's just like,
yeah.
And I mean, she's very hospitable. I mean, she offers the boys tea, you know, and I think that's stand up. And she's just like, you know.
But I don't. Yeah, no, like she is. I find myself very endeared to characters who have a special interest and go balls to the fucking wall with it. Like I'm fully into it. I'm fully into it, and she's like. But the thing is, she's not like she has knowledge, she's useful, she helps them. But I'm fucking sorry. Did you service over on King of the Fairies is funny. Do you have bigger cups is funny. When they walk out and Dee's like, is it on me? I feel like it's on me.
The crazy's on me.
It's funny. It is all the way funny. It's all the way funny. Yeah, very no.
Very good.
Yeah, no, I really like that episode.
You're allowed.
It was nearly the hippie chick, but she didn't have enough character to go on. But it was nearly her on the pure basis of Sam was shirtless with her.
Chick.
Patchouli. She had a name. It was like Summer something or other.
Oh, I don't know. Chick. I don't remember.
That episode.
God, that's a good
Soul
episode.
Wouldn't let you sit and feel the loss. Yeah, no. Do bigger cups. My next one is also Sully. Like I said, I try not to have overlap with Sandra because I would have picked Molly, and you know, I mean, given a top 10, Kasey probably would have made it on my list as well. But I couldn't not have this one as well. It's definitely Sully. And then my last one, which I'm actually really surprised that this didn't make it onto Sandra's list.
That was another one I was going to do, but like I said, I kind of, because we were only doing 5, I was actually curious if you were going to maybe pick this one too, because so I was like, let me just see. So
yeah, you gotta be strict when you're limited like this. But my last one, and mine we just went in like chronological order, not like top favorites. But my last one is Mrs. Butters from Last Holiday. I love her so much. And you don't like, I mean, she's interesting because like you like her, you think she's different and quirky. Then she has like this little like switch, she's like, no. And it's like, it's this protection overload thing. But then it's like, she gets to break out of it. The boys end up like, breaking through to her. But she's so funny. And do you also like her because of the blooper? It's not the one about, I know which blooper you mean, but I can't remember.
Does a few of them,
it's hot dog eating something.
She gets a little randy in a couple of like when she's talking, and like
it's when they're all eating dinner, and I think Jensen says something to Alex. It's something about a hot dog eating. I want to say mask or something, but I can't remember what it is.
She just whatever she says, it's just.
But she said, what she says is she just goes, no, I did. And the boys just fucking fall about laughing. I cannot remember. It's what one of J2 says something like slightly dirty to Alex. And he's kind of like, and then she just goes, no, I did. And fucking fall about. It's really, really funny. She's like, I have a lot of love in my heart for little old ladies that look like really like well put together and distinguished, and they are secretly like absolute hellions. I love it. Oh my god, my weakness is a little old men that like if they sing, I'm a puddle, man. I'm little old men what do like choirs and stuff. Fucking hell. And they sing songs from the war, and I am a puddle on the floor, and little old women that just give zero fucks. And I'm enormously into that. So yeah. But a not insignificant part of Mrs. Butters is the fact that the actress was like, because you can tell she's doing it to fuck with them. You 100% just because the way they fall about in that blooper, I'm gonna have to go and look it up. But the way that they fucking fall apart in that blooper, and they're like, what? Very, very funny. Very, very funny. Very funny. And also like she does the whole Christmas thing. And like she treats him nice.
She does.
And I think there's a lesson to be learned from that episode. It comes so late in the show. But she goes dark side, quote unquote, on Jack, and they manage to pull her out of it. And then they let her go. And like early seasons Sam and Dean would have been like, she's a monster. Yeah. Especially Dean. She's a monster. We have to kill her. You can't let her be roaming around like that. But they just let her go. Yeah. And I just speaks to a lot of growth in the characters, but also she's really fucking funny. Yeah.
And I mean, I think obviously too, like there was that parallel happening within the show itself where, Dean was trying to come to terms with Jack and different things like that, like, what had happened, and Jack was still trying to like, make up for what had happened with Mary and all those things. And so I think, all those things kind of like just kind of fell in line too. But yeah, no, she was a great character. I love that episode just in general. It's just really, it's different, like they kind of, and it came at a really good, I mean, it was the first episode after like the COVID break, like that was the first episode that got aired. And I kind of feel like
it was a great episode to come back.
It was a great episode to come back to.
I don't think that was by design.
No,
I don't think that was by design, but that was just fate smiled on that. And I know I do have my issues with that episode are not anything to do with that character. And they're just the way it highlights what Sam didn't have. But I defy anybody to look at Jensen doing the
he gets
smile
so
with the Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah.
I defy anybody to look at that and not fall in love with the woman that makes him smile like that. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cute. Come on now.
It is.
It's adorable.
It's adorable.
Yeah. So that was our top 10s.
Yeah. It would have been even longer if we each had 10 each.
That was our top 10
together.
No plural. No plurals. No plurals. Our top 10. Our top fives. Fives. Let's go with top
our
fives.
top fives. 5 and 5 make 10. So that's our top 10. Top 10 total.
Look, we can do maths.
We can do math here. Yes, we can. I think we should probably try to wrap up because we've got another episode to get ready for. Do you have any final thoughts about our picks?
Not about our picks, but I would be interested to hear from listeners about any one-shot characters that maybe we missed, or would you have put Jesse or Madison in your top 5? Let us know.
Stringent. It's got to be just one time. So if we had to do it, you guys have to do it too. But
even if you think that it was an alternate timeline flashback that the character reappeared in, it doesn't matter. It's got to be just a one-time thing. But if the actor comes back,
that's fine. That's okay. Because that's a ton. One day we will do something about
Jensen's little black book of Vancouver actors for real.
There's a lot. There's
a fair few. Yeah.
But for now, we are going to wrap up this episode. So thank you for listening. Let us know what you thought. Email us at idlinginttheimpala@gmail.com. Comment on Spotify in the Q&A section. Leave a YouTube comment. Join our Discord and chat with fellow idlers and us in real time. Check out our merch store, which is another fun way to show your support. You can find details for everything on our website. That's idlinginttheimpala.com. Want to fuel our supernatural road trip? Consider joining us on Ko-fi for as little as $1 a month. We have perks to go along with different membership tiers, and would love to have you along for the ride.
Don't forget, though, you can always support us for free by liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube, and following, rating, sharing on audio platforms. Engagement like that really helps us with the algorithms. All hail their benevolence. As always, we have the causes we support in the description. So you have LGBTQ plus talking charities from me, mental health charities from Sandra, and of course, the main causes that we are always highlighting, championing, spotlighting are World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders. If you want to know more about these causes, why we're supporting them, what they mean to us, check out idlinginttheimpala.com. There is a page there called Cause is Cause with all the details. So with that, we will say thank you for joining us in the back seat, and we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.